Gamecube on the Unicorn is fast, guys. I mean, this is a great experience. It plays many of the Gamecube games, and no, it's not perfect, and yes, there are more powerful units, such as the Dimensity 1100 that's in the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro, but guys, with this beautiful screen, man, Gamecube is awesome. Stay tuned! Popular streamer that goes by the name Dr. Disrespect is defending himself. We'll take a look today on Sidebar, presented by Law and... No, wait, that's not me. Hey, Deadheads, welcome back to the channel. Or welcome for the first time, new Deadheads. So, today, Unicorn. We did an unboxing about a week or so ago. We've been using this every day, playing with it, looking and exposing any weaknesses it has, and we're here ready to show you our full review. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe, get in the comments. We're loving the banter going on. Share with us your thoughts. We do have our RG Cube coming, so we'll be looking at it pretty soon. But for now, let's take a look and let's review the Unicorn, which is pretty unplayable. Now, Tekken Tag Tournament for PS2 is known to be a bit of a challenging game to run, so not unexpected here as I adjust the scale and setting here. But even with adjusting down the scale, you can see it didn't really improve. But again, this is running with the very basic battery saving mode. This is not on the performance mode, so no matter what I adjusted here, I could not get it to run at a reasonable speed. Zoom in here and let you guys see that we're on OpenGL at 1.75. We're going to drop this thing down to 1x, and yeah, it's going to run a little bit better, but it's still just not reasonable. So you can see that this is, you know, maybe some people could handle this and play this, but I don't think it's really reasonable. Now, once I did adjust that performance mode up in the settings and I put it up, you can see now running at a 2x that it is actually running at a much more reasonable frame rate. I'll go in here and adjust the settings. And we're going to bump this down to a 1.25, and it's really going to play like it should. It's really interesting because, you know, on a game-to-game level, you're going to have different sorts of results here. And for Tekken Tag Tournament, if you remember to change that setting, because the way that this thing ships, it ships with the base setting to save on battery, you're going to have to change that mode to gaming mode, or high performance mode, excuse me, so that you can get the most out of this. I will point out that this is a very comfortable handheld to hold. It's one of the reasons why I love the Snow Cape so much, because it's so easy to hold. Now, let's take a look here at Virtua Fighter 4 running on the basic mode. This is not high performance, and it's running at 2x. So it's pretty remarkable that a game of the same era on the same console system of the same style can have such remarkable differences. I think a lot of this comes down to emulation and software support. Now, unfortunately, PS2 and Switch software support is pretty dead, although people are picking up the mantle for Switch. But there's not a lot of going on in PS2, so I think that really the G99, the T820, and those lower CPUs could actually play PS2 a whole lot better if we had more development and support going on for emulation. Unfortunately, with the lawsuits and everything, I think that it's just a little too close for comfort versus the retro consoles that are pretty old and maybe not being gone after. Now we're going to switch over to some DS here and 3DS, and we're going to show you that also with 3DS not running in the performance mode, we're going to have quite a bit of slowdown going on. It's going to, you know, play okay, but it's not playing with the best level with that at that basic performance mode. So this CPU definitely has some throttling going on whenever it is at low speeds. And you can see here, once we've adjusted it, now it's playing at a much more reasonable rate. It certainly seems to be running better. Bring up the screen here and show you that we're running here at a 2x on the Citra MMJR emulator. And let's switch over here to New Super Mario Brothers. Again, like the difference between Virtua Fighter 4 and Tekken Tag Tournament, it's night and day how New Super Mario Brothers 2 is running just fantastic here with the same settings and level of performance versus Super Mario Land 3D, which is just kind of dragging just a little bit on. We'll just let a little of the footage here play here so you guys can enjoy. And that D-pad is actually one of my favorite D-pads. It's the favorite style of D-pad. I really love it. It's interesting that the Cube, being, you know, such a direct competitor to this and sort of, you know, basing the whole concept of the Cube on the Snow Cake, which also had this D-pad, also has it, since many of anbernic's devices don't usually come with that D-pad. But this is enjoyable. I'd play New Super Mario Brothers on this. Let's switch over and show you some older emulation here. This is where this thing really shines. This beautiful screen with this 1:1 aspect ratio at 720p. You can see that Game Boy Advance here just looks fantastic as we look at some Castlevania. It just really looks great. The comfort of holding this thing for a long while is awesome. I could definitely Game Boy on this, although this is not my absolute favorite way to Game Boy. But we'll switch through and look through some more older emulation as we kind of check out here some Game Gear. We'll look at a Donald Duck game here on the Game Gear. And again, this 1:1 aspect ratio, it just works so beautifully for some of these square pixel retro machines, Game Gear, Game Boy, Pico 8, etc. It's just beautiful. The 7:20 by 720 screen is just also nice and high definition. So this is a really fun way to kind of play old emulation games. Here's some Smurfs on the Sega Master System, and I wasn't very good here at the Smurfs. And then let's look at some Game Boy. This is Game Boy on Game Boy Advance emulator. This is a hack, one of my favorite Game Boy hacks of Super Mario Land 2, the search for coins. And it's just a beautiful game. It looks beautiful on this screen and really just looks amazing here. Let's go into some PlayStation 1 and show you guys what PlayStation 1 looks like. And here's some Crash Bandicoot as we're playing here with this thing upscaled at 3x, 720p, which is matching the screen ratio. We do have this at a 4:3 aspect ratio. And you can see that this thing just looks fantastic. It looks awesome with the bezels, and just really love the look of this. So let's start talking about the things that I like. I like the form factor. I think the form factor is fantastic. It feels great in your hands. The shape of it is great. I think the shape of the buttons that are in line and not stacked is smart for this. I know that some people think a stacked would be better, but I think this just feels really wonderful to hold and play. It's got a really good build quality. It looks fantastic, and it comes with a case. It also comes with a protector, so it's really nice that it comes with those things without having to buy those separately. I like the D-pad. It's my favorite style of D-pad. This one's fantastic. These sticks are great. I haven't had any issue with any cardinal snapping. They seem to be calibrated great. The screen is beautiful, 720p. It's not as good as the Snowcake's OLED 8.7 screen. That screen is gorgeous. But the screen is pretty remarkable here. It does look really nice. I don't like, let's talk about some of the things that I don't like. I don't like the fact that this is also, like its name, looking like it might be kind of hard to get as we look at some Gamecube here. The sound on this thing, I think, could be just a little bit better. It's a little disappointing with the sound. I also wish that this maybe did have a more powerful chip in it. If we're going to go over $130 anyways, let's get up into the T820 or Dimensity 900 or 1100 range of CPU. So I think G99 was a good choice, but we've got to get this price down. So if this thing is launching in the US over 150, I just don't think it's going to work very well here. I also don't like that the software that has been developed for it is only currently in Chinese, so I'm not able to test that out and check it. I'm hoping that IXU for this is going to end up being good. It's kind of hard to know if that is something that's going to occur or not, but I sure hope once Leo Zhang and his team gets this out, we will be able to experience his vision of the software meant for this. So, Deadheads, what do you think? I have to say overall, being a huge fan of ZPG games and the Snowcake, that I am liking this. I'm finding myself playing this quite a bit these days, along with, as we look at some PlayStation 2 Resident Evil 4 as we take us out. I'm finding that I am playing this quite often. I think it's very enjoyable. It has met my expectations, but I do understand how this might not meet the expectations of the main populace. For me, Deadheads, this is a buy. I'm very hopeful that ZPG will get international orders arranged. They'll get it put in a way that makes it as simple as ordering as something from anbernic, because anbernic needs more competition, and we're able to get this thing going. Anyways, Deadheads, I hope you've enjoyed this review of it. Again, to summarize, great form factor, great screen, has a great control to it. The negatives are the sound aren't great, the price could be a little bit out of range, and the CPU-GPU combo is kind of aging and not being the best it could be. So anyways, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. We're going to just take us out with a little more Tekken Tag tournament footage on PS2. Make sure you hit the like button and share this video, and we'll see you next time, guys. Deadfred out!